Recording. All right, everyone, welcome to Judoka Talk, or Judoka Talk. So we got...
I'm waiting to use that one.
God damn it. All right, welcome to Judoka Talk, or Judoka Talk. We got, with me, three people. We got Kyle Wright, we got Geronimo, and we got L.A. Smith III. Guys want to say hi?
Hi.
No. All right, so today we're going to be talking about training and cross-training for judo. But before that, so just in the theme of hitting a max deadlift yesterday, me and LA are going to be sharing a beer.
Oh, baby.
LA, you want to say cheers? Cheers.
Cheers. What you got there, buddy? Stella?
Stella. Because yesterday I hit a 260 kilo deadlift, which about 573 pounds. I improved my deadlift by 80 some pounds, which is pretty good in about 4 weeks. And so I was thinking I'd ask you guys sort of like, I know this is a different time, but what have you been focusing on with your training in the last month or so? And then how are you going to plan on changing your training and, you know, changing your focus on what you're training leading up to when competitions return? Because right now my plan is to see if Budapest happens, the Budapest Grand Slam on October 23rd. I'm waiting to see if that happens. And if it happens, start training and getting ready for the Tokyo Grand Slam, because then it's more likely to happen. So Kyle, you can talk.
Oh man. Well, I mean, at the beginning of all this quarantine stuff, we all I probably had the same mindset as a lot of people, where we're just like, oh, let's get as big as possible, let's get as strong as possible. But that kind of switched. So my dad actually, he started doing cycles of month-long cycles of like strength, of speed, of like right now we're doing cardio, just to stay on top of all the aspects you need for competition. But so as long as we don't compete, I think we're just gonna keep cycling through it like that.
So what's your cycle like? It starts with strength.
Yeah, so at first, so we try to complement what we do at judo practice with what we do lifting wise. So when we did the strength portion, we did like 3-man throws at judo, and then we did we did like 3 reps on our lifts, or at least I did. I don't know if my siblings did the same thing.
Don't you guys train together? You should.
Well, we train together in the dojo, but not at home, because we have like different schedules. So Chantal is at work all the time. Liam likes to wake up later, and I have school, so I have to like wake up kind of.
Liam's a grown boy, so he's got.
So yeah.
Well, that's pretty nice that you're able to like change your judo training based on your lifting schedule. Because I think it's pretty optimal. Because I mean, for me, because I don't have any say on what the trainings are like, because I go visit Camberley, so there I go to do randori. I can't be like, all right, guys. So instead of randori today, 3-man uchikomi instead.
Are you still going there like now, or are they shut down?
I don't actually know what they're doing at the moment.
I think they have like an outside tent set up.
Because I don't think I don't think British Judo has cleared any clubs to start training again.
Yeah.
But Camberley's like in a bubble, basically. They don't really have to rely on visitors coming in, so they could be training, but I don't
maybe
think
amongst themselves?
I don't think they are because there's no reason for them to get in trouble with the British Judo Association.
Yeah.
It's not really worth it.
Oh, so like if like people found out they were training, they get in a lot of trouble?
I imagine so because British Judo released a statement like stating that we've become aware that a bunch of clubs have started doing contact judo. Like we've not cleared this. We're going to go through certain ways to like punish them or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But they all kind of live together, no?
Yeah, so like I think it would be fine if Camberley were to start training again, but like they'd have to not like accept visitors.
Yeah.
For sure.
But one of Camberley's like nice thing about Camberley is they accept visitors for just like their randori sessions or have open randori sessions, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
But like during like a competition phase, like I can't be like, all right, I need a little bit of an easier randori session. I have to go and just like, you know, whoever's
Focus.
gonna have to, and like it's also like I can't always be certain who's gonna be there, so it's always like a mix and match. LA, what's your training be like?
Uh, so for me, I like when everything first happened, started shutting down. I took like 2 weeks off, especially because it was like March. I had spent the first like 2.5 months in Europe, bouncing from place, training, whatever. And then from that, and then like the end of last year, like I was pretty beat up.
Yeah, you
Uh,
really
um, what'd you say?
you deserve the rest.
Yeah, yeah. Like I was beat, man. Like PCL was torn,
Wait, you tore
slightly torn.
your PCL?
What happened?
You tore your PCL?
I tore my PCL a week before the World Championships last year.
Oh God.
Oh, I remember that.
Wait,
Yeah.
you want to match at Worlds with a torn PCL?
Yes.
My man.
Like,
You should have seen the you should have seen the tape on his knee though. It was like taped shut.
yeah, yeah, man. Like it was. I got an MRI and everything, and they were like, "Yeah, yeah, it's pretty much torn to shreds." And I was like, "Oh." But I mean, the good thing with the PCL is like you can operate without it, to a certain extent. After when you first initially injure it, it's like annoying and noticeable, but like with ACL and even MCL to a certain extent, you're kind of like screwed. But PCL, and there's a lot of athletes who have done that. I was talking with my doctor, and Thurman Thomas, who's like a Hall of Fame NFL running back. He like played his whole career without a PCL. So they said it's doable. That's why I was like, okay, well, I'll be able to fight, I guess. And then, yeah, so I had that. A week before Mittersill, I slightly tore my oblique.
I remember that.
Yeah, terrible. And then just over the course of the couple months, just things here and there, shoulder, ankle, foot, yada, yada, yada. You guys know the deal. So I took that time off. And then when I started coming back, it was like mostly rehabilitation stuff. Wasn't really focusing on strength too much. Just mainly rehab, trying to build myself back up. Um, and then I spent about a month to 6 weeks doing that. And then, recently it's been a lot of strength, some conditioning. Pretty much this whole time, I haven't really let myself, completely fall off the map as far as conditioning wise. Obviously, I'm not in competition shape, but I always like keep myself if I like a week and a half, 2 weeks, and like I would be ready for competition shape. You know what I mean? Like just running, and if I really focused on it, I would be ready to go. So that's kind of where I'm at now, and that's kind of what my plan was this whole time. Like I'll drop down a little bit. Like obviously, it's not the same intensity. I'm not training for anything, I'll stay close to it. So whenever they do, come back or whatever, it's not a long climb uphill trying to get my cardio back. But yeah, I've been feeling pretty good. Freaking
So would
feeling
you
healthy.
like in a maintenance phase, more or less?
What'd you say?
You're like in a maintenance phase, basically.
Yeah, yeah. And then yeah.
And
So it's been nice to do like heavy stuff recently. We haven't been able to do like bench in a long time. Squats I didn't do for a while. Uh, so a lot of the major muscle groups I had to do like other things like get creative and different kind of exercises just to stay fit. But now it's swole season, baby.
oh yeah, actually that reminds me of when I like injured my knee, and so like
Yeah,
week leading up to the Russia Grand Slam, which didn't happen. But I was
yeah.
all right, I need to at least have one of my legs be fit. So I just started training one of my legs. I was doing hopping sled pushes.
You were
And
doing what?
I was
Very
doing
functional.
like sled pushes, but with one leg. I was
I was. Tell me you videotaped that.
nah. This was
I
before I
would love to.
was in the gym, and I was doing like single leg deadlifts and stuff. I was like, I'm gonna have one really good leg.
This leg will not be.
Was your PCL torn whenever they landed when you did that Tayatoshi?
Well, it wasn't even a Tayo. I was going against this like big. He's like 6'5", 6'5", maybe like 235. Um, he's not like huge, but he's taller and kind of awkward. I don't know if you know. I mean, I won't drop names, but
I don't know.
I
Should
did.
we drop names on this?
But I did an Osoto, and then he kind of like stumbled. He stumbled back, and then he like defended, and then I switched to Harai, and as I was throwing him, he like dropped his body straight down. And hey, Savannah, I'm talking to my friends. Yeah, you want to say hi? This is my niece. Say hi. All right. Nah. Go to your mother. Sorry. Yeah, so my knee was like into the mat, and then he fell on the back half of my leg. So like if my knee this is my foot, like my foot went this way and my knee just stayed straight. So, and I didn't know what was wrong, but I knew something immediately was wrong.
Geronimo, so what's your training being like?
Um,
You planning on doing any, and also you planning on doing any of the competitions coming up, or
no, I will not be doing any of the competitions coming up.
what about the President's Cup?
Well, I know that Dallas Invitational. Wait, Dallas Invitational is getting canceled.
I thought they were still trying to do the President's Cup, but
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
That's the thing here. They're like trying to, especially like local stuff. They keep like trying to, all right, like hold out. Like there's some hope, especially for this year. Like okay, like maybe we'll have it, and then like 2 weeks it comes before time for like the camp or the tournament, and like, oh guys, we got to cancel. No, really?
really,
That's honestly how I feel about the IGF competitions too, because they said they can like they reserve the right to cancel whenever they want to.
just
I know, yeah. It's going to be the same thing.
the day before everyone's arrived. All right, we're canceling. Biggest prank in the world.
Yeah, no, I don't think I'll be doing any of the tournaments anytime soon. I know there's senior nationals in March in Vegas. So
Wait. Oh yeah,
It's Reno.
I was thinking of doing senior.
Reno, right? Yeah. Reno. Still not a bad place to go for senior nationals. I'll shoot for that if anything, and then see, just kind of play it out. I'm not too worried about international tournaments right now, just because I know how the bands are, and I'm not willing to go through the whole process to transition to going and everything that it takes. But training wise, I got a rack whenever it all started. I got some racks, some weights, and a bar. So I've been able to do pretty much everything. But I've been focusing on just being able to, like, muscle conditioning and Olympic lifting more than I was before. So working on cleans, shoulder press, or not shoulder press, the jerk, and then snatch. So,
How's your jerking?
it's okay.
Pretty good, Geronimo. Yeah.
Yeah, nice and strong, huh?
I've been trying to learn how to jerk, but like, I'm having a lot of troubles with it.
Well, I mean,
The technique is just like a little hard.
it's just
I can't really drop deep enough for it.
the hard part is just when you finish, when you lock it out, is catching it on the right spot. Because if you catch it too far back or too far forward, your weight's gonna go that way.
Like, I honor because you have to split your legs like quite far apart.
Yeah, unless you do a squat jerk.
Okay, I'm not gonna do a squat jerk. I'm not.
Those are even harder.
Those
So
are, I've tried to do a squat jerk. It didn't happen.
I also don't have the proper shoes for Olympic lifting. So honestly, I probably, if I bought them, I wouldn't use them as much as I should.
I had actually no. I recently bought the Addy Powers.
Yeah, those are.
Because I found this like randomly. I was looking on Amazon, and I saw my size in the color I wanted for like over half price. Like every other size was normal price, but my size was. So I got them, and actually no, I use them a lot whenever I'm doing any squatting or any Olympic lifting because they help a lot.
Yeah, I mean, for Olympic lifting, I'd probably use them, but I train Olympic lifting 1 day a week.
All right.
Other than that, I've mainly been focusing on the bump when you're coming up, the bump, and then getting under it. Recently I tried 245 for clean, and I got it up. I'm just struggling to get under the bar to the catch.
That's hard, man.
Yeah,
we were talking about that too. But like when because you gotta like throw yourself under, and it's like that moment of truth.
Yeah,
Are you gonna catch that shit, or is the weight gonna catch you?
I only got to see the video where I tried the 245. I tried it 5 or 6 times, and every single time I got it up. The problem is just getting under it, and I was under it.
Switch.
Yeah. And a few times I was under it, but then my weight just like would go forward, so then I would just.
Yeah, I mean it's better than your weight going backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that happened to me with like I was 180 pounds. So like it was like I like felt it and I was like, oh no. And I was just like, because I saw, I remember seeing something about this guy who like did a clean and he was using straps and like he fell backwards and like broke both his arms.
Oh man, you don't.
So just like when that was happening, so I was like, oh god. I like brought my arms in close and I just slowly fell backwards because like the weight was so light.
Yeah.
But like if that happened with anything heavier, I was just gonna be. I know, man.
stuck in a job like this.
I'm thinking like if that happens, I start falling backwards. I'm just gonna like try and suplex the bar off of me.
Yeah, yeah.
Totally fine.
Right into the mirror.
Just some unsuspecting schmuck behind me is just walking. It's like
You probably
200-pound
push it
bar.
forward.
Yeah, so I've been focusing on Olympic lifting and also squatting. I've been focusing a lot on that. Something that has worked for me very, very well is, and I saw this from a Netflix documentary, the West Side Barbell documentary.
Oh yeah, I'd be meaning to watch that.
Yeah, it's really interesting, but something from there was the law of accommodation, which I was actually talking to LA about on Tuesday, I think. It's been, I mean, for me, it's been absolutely like changing the way I work out, just because you change every little thing that you can change, you change it. So if one day you can squat with bands, or you can squat with chains, or you can change your stance, you can change if it's high bar, low bar, front squat. So there's so many combinations that you can do that you're never going to repeat the same one in 1 month. So then, and then you can do high weight, low weight, middle weight, like reps, low reps, high reps. So you're never going to repeat the same type of squat, which has, for me, allowed me to go way heavier on my squats when I want to. Sorry, did you guys hear that?
Ouch.
I try to turn off the notifications, but
Yeah, no, that the law of accommodation I've tried to incorporate, at least with my deadlift phase. So I do a different deadlift variation every day. So like on Monday I was doing conventional, then on Tuesday I'd do Jefferson, Wednesday I'd do Zercher, Thursday I would do what was it, sumo, and then I would do a trap bar deadlift on either Friday or Saturday.
No wonder you're in pain.
It worked.
You were doing deadlifts every day?
Yeah, 5 days a week.
5 days a week?
You must be really sick of people pulling you over like that, huh?
I don't want that to happen again. I want like if I get something over, I want it to be like my decision.
Yeah.
But
so, but yeah, for me, it's been mainly squats. It's been going well in that area. Deadlift, I haven't focused so much on, and bench, I sort of lost focus on it, but I'm refocusing on it again a little bit more. But yeah, and then recently I started doing more of what I used to. So like foam rolling and taking care of your body like you should. Because I think for training, I think the most important part is probably the recovery. Regardless of what you do, how you train, I think the most important part is the recovery. For me, the place I go here, Recover DFW, has been, I mean, amazing. They use the cryo penguin, the game ready, Normatec. Huh?
the cryo penguin.
Yeah, so instead of a chamber, it's a gun. So they can shoot the cryotherapy on a localized area rather than the whole body. So if your shoulder hurts, you don't need to do the whole chamber. You can just go in and get your shoulder done. So for me, that things like that have been really, really do help me out for when I'm training for a tournament. Recently, I haven't been able to go there, but I look forward to when I can. But I do think recovery is the most important part of any athlete's training.
Kyle, is there any science backing the cryo gun? Physical
Haven't
therapy.
heard anything about it yet. So I've had multiple professors tell me that that whole cryotherapy chamber stuff is actually useless. I think it just depends on the individual and how you feel, because recovery is also very individualized. So like one person can train all day one day and keep going the next day, while the other person is completely sore, for example. So it just depends on the person too.
I do think I do think what Kyle said. I mean, by no means am I a professional of any kind in that health area, but I do think that everybody's different.
Yeah.
So there's never like a one size fits all when you're recovering. For me, cryo is not just like I feel better, my cells, and it's just for me it feels like an ice pack, and I don't like getting in the tubs
Yeah.
with ice because it takes too long, and I just don't have that kind of time.
Well, the good thing about like ice baths is they did do research, at least from what I've seen, and like it doesn't actually help you recover faster. The main thing it does, it just reduces your perceptions of soreness, which is
Yeah, but that's a lot of those recovery methods do
yeah,
that.
so it just reduces your perception of being tired, which
Yeah.
is actually really useful, I think. But like, it's also kind of just lying to yourself
Yeah.
to a certain extent.
Fake it till you make it.
Make it so you. I was just gonna say that.
The cold does reduce inflammation.
Sorry, say that again.
Like if you're in cold, it reduces inflammation.
Yeah, but inflammation is needed for recovery.
Right, but I'm saying like if you're training at a high intensity, you need to be able to not feel as much to keep pushing your body to that limit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, like
or
I
you can
said, it
just let it
reduces the
heal.
perception of being tired.
that too.
But what I've found, like for me, what I've been, because I've been trying like testing a lot of like, so over the quarantine, I've been like trying to test a lot of different kind of like ideas of training. So like different ways to do cardio, like trying to focus on the different energy systems, like doing, you know, anaerobic alactic work, trying to do anaerobic lactic work, trying to do like specifically aerobic, trying to like mix them together and trying to see like what's like harder and what's and like how my body reacts to all of it, and also trying to see like how much I can train in a week, because like at one point I was trying to build up like to see how much I can train in a week, so I was like trying to build up to doing 4 training sessions a day just to see like what my body can do, because like when one of the problems I've always had when I was like going to competitions is I'd always like train just as hard as I can, as much as I can. And I would always feel like it was almost like I was coming up to a test and I was just like, I need to study all the time, like for 24 hours a day. And so I just started training like 3 times a day. And so I wanted to like test out like how I feel without a competition coming up and see like, do I actually improve better with doing like 3 or 4 trainings a day, or can I do 2 or just 1 training a day? And with fatigue and like recovery, I found it just like taking a little more chill and like being more realistic helps my body feel a lot better, because even though like in the strength phase when I was doing my deadlifts every day, I was only working up to 1 top set each day.
Yeah.
So I'd work up to a top set of 5, then the next week I'd work to a top set of 3, then I'd start working up to a top set of like a single, and maybe I do 1 or 2 singles, but like I wasn't trying to like exhaust myself each day. And I found that like my body was a lot less sore when I was training with like the idea of adaptation instead of like just trying to like get exhausted. And like I felt like I didn't really need to be like doing hot baths all the time or doing cold baths, like icing myself, doing like electrostim. I didn't feel like I was really needing to do that when I was actually just like trying to like be a little smarter with my training loads. And so like I'm hoping to be able to like figure out a way to like balance out my training properly when judo ever returns. So that, because I feel like when you start having to like rely on doing like ice baths and like hot baths and all that, it's a sign that you're probably trying to overtrain or you're doing something a little wrong with your training. because your body like adapts when it recovers. So if your body's not properly recovering, then you're not really getting the full adaptation of the training that you need, and you're limiting your potential, I think.
I think also another big part of the training I think us as judo players sometimes underestimate that because you're not trying to make weight constantly, you know? But I think the nutrition aspect is huge for the training. Sometimes as judo players, we're all guilty of wanting to go eat donuts and burgers and anything that you want to eat, you get to eat because you're not trying to make weight. But I think that if we were to maintain a more stable diet and a more nutritious diet, it would definitely benefit training. I mean, everybody's guilty of it. Recently, I've been watching my diet more after I saw how heavy I got. I did not appreciate that from myself, but I do think it's a huge part of it. And I'll go through moments where I'm like, okay, I'm watching my diet again. You know, like this is over. I'm not gonna. And again, you fall right into that rabbit hole, and then you pick up again, and then you keep going back down there because for a long period of time you get restricted of what you can and can't eat because you're focused on making your weight. But I do think that nutrition would
Yeah, eating
huge
better
in our
food,
trainings.
eating food that helps you recover is gonna help you train better. LA, how's your diet been? What are you eating for breakfast today?
Uh, it depends really. Because if I train in the morning, then I'll either have oatmeal or fruit with some yogurt. Sometimes I'll do a little cottage cheese. Maybe throw some peanut butter honey in there.
I knew you were gonna say that.
I tend to keep it light, not too crazy. If I don't have training in the morning, that morning, then I'll have eggs. Sometimes anywhere from like 5 to 8 eggs. Maybe some toast. I usually have an avocado with it. Sometimes I'll do eggs and potatoes. Sometimes eggs and protein pancakes. It really just depends, but I usually have a bigger breakfast. Uh, yeah, it's just been normal for me. Like, I try to have a salad once a day, um, and then try to have like a balanced dinner: protein, vegetable, carbohydrate. So it's kind of normally what I do. I mean, food is fuel. What you put into your body is important, and those kind of benefits we'll see. So I've been wanting to experiment eating less meat for a while. It's just so hard, man. God, it's so hard.
You should talk to me about that.
I know, I know.
Yeah, you should get on that pasta and ketchup diet.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, ketchup's the most delicious and nutritious food you can have.
I'm trying to tell people, but nobody listens to me.
What do you eat?
Best recovery food. What?
I said, what do you eat, Kyle?
Well, right now it kind of depends on what I feel like. But I
You're
go
not
like
that
kind of like you, where I go through periods where I'm like, okay, I'm too heavy, got to get back on the grind, just change the structure of what I eat a little bit. Usually it's so I usually work out in the morning, so I have a lifting session in the morning. So I usually don't eat before, right, like before that, because I get up kind of late and then I'm pressed for time. So I usually hold off with breakfast until after my workout. Um, but it's usually some oats or it's usually oats or yogurt, and then for lunch I start preparing for the practice at night, so I usually have some carbs, some protein, just like a well balanced. Um, just it really depends on how I feel that day, you know.
Yeah, see, for me, this time around, eating something that oddly has helped, and I've been doing more research about. I'm still not 100% sure on what's affecting me because I just started doing it. But when I wake up, I'll do fasted cardio and I'll drink a glass with Himalayan salt. Yes. I know it sounds odd. I've been reading on like people that do it. It does make your body feel a little different at first, and then you don't feel much.
Is it the Himalayan salt or the fasted cardio?
I don't know.
You
Well,
should
no, I did start.
you do one day without the Himalayan salt,
Yes.
one day without the water and just the Himalayan salt.
Hmm. So I try to put a little salt in the water. It really just adds like your what's it called, like your salts, more natural salts into your body. And then for breakfast I'll have around kind of what LA has. Every morning I'll have anywhere between 4 to 6 eggs.
Oh, jeez.
um
So many eggs. Y'all are
My
gonna have
list
heart
was
attack at
screaming.
40.
I'll have 4 to 6 eggs, and then I'll maybe sometimes fruit, and then I'll have a rice cake with some peanut butter, just for a little bit of carbs. Not too many, but just enough to get me through till lunch. And then on lunch I'll have 8 ounces of chicken, a cup of rice, and 2 cups of mixed vegetables. And then I'll go train, I'll go lift, and then I'll go lift, and then I'll come back, have some amino acids. Just I like the taste, and it's easy to. I don't think they do much. Most of them you probably pee out, but they. Um, and then I'll wait till dinner, and then I won't have any more carbs. So then the last carbs I have are about at 12, and the last meal I have is around 5 to 7 sometimes. And then I have a cheat day a week, but my cheat day honestly, and what I've been saying is this time around it felt different, because usually at first I really wanted the cheat day just to come around. I was just like thinking about what I was gonna eat. The first cheat day, I think.
All right, sorry about that, Geronimo. You want to carry on?
Yes. So I was saying, in the past when I was doing this whole meal prepping and diet, I was always looking forward to the cheat day, you know. And I
Remember
think,
you talking about it?
yeah,
You would tell practice like, dude, I can't wait to have such and such tomorrow or whatever.
yeah, and it was always just looking forward for the cheat day. And don't get me wrong, I still look forward to be able to eat like a little bit more than during the week. But when I get to the cheat day, I don't crave anything. I'm just like, I wish I could have my chicken and rice, you know. And it sounds so weird, but it really has changed for me this time around. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. But it really has just like a switch flipped in my head. And don't get me wrong, like cheesecake and ice cream and everything sounds good, but I don't have that craving of, oh, I need the sugar. I need chocolate. I need all that sweet or fried stuff, you know. I don't feel the need for that anymore. And I think for me that has been like different this time around. I don't know if it's because the quarantine is just, I haven't been going out and I haven't seen as many things and foods I want to eat or what, but it's just changed.
Plus, you feel like when you eat a certain thing, you start like I don't know about you. For me too, when I started getting older, like I literally feel the difference of my body when
I
I'm
do.
having certain things like
Absolutely.
yeah, and it's just way more noticeable.
I think
Like
that was part of it. I think
yeah,
because my cheat day is on a Friday, and every Saturday I would wake up and I would feel just disgusting. I would feel sticky, and not that I didn't shower the night before or anything. I would just feel oily and sticky, and my body would feel heavy.
Yep.
I would feel
Sluggish.
Yeah, because during the quarantine, like I worked a lot on like building up my work capacity because I wasn't able to like train for anything specific. So I was just trying to like build up my body's ability to work more. And like I started playing around with like timing my nutrition. So like before and like because I watched a couple of videos about like how many carbs and like how much protein you should have at certain times of the day. It started playing around like so now I find that like around 60 grams of carb in the morning is like good enough to go like do like a decent cardio session, and then around like 90 to 100 grams in between. Like if I'm doing a 2 a day, I find that like doing about 100 grams of carbs or 90 grams of carbs and about 30 grams of proteins like satiating enough to then like be able to do another like hard session in a few hours. But I found out that like when I started, if I were to eat more, or if I was like eating like fatty foods at all, or like, because I'd keep like during the day, I'd keep my like fats and like almost all food, I'd keep it to a minimum other than just like, so I'd like trying to just give my body just enough to like be able to like sustain working out.
What's your like usual meal pattern for a day?
So like,
What do you eat?
so like my morning is I just eat a few bananas or some sugar just to get carbs in and like no protein, no fat. Then I work out, and then if I'm gonna do a second training, then I'll like so during the quarantine when I was doing like 2 a days and stuff or like 3 days if I was being crazy, like I would just have like one small meal in between each training, and it would just be mostly carbs and then like maybe a bit of protein.
Like a sandwich?
Usually I'd have like a packet of like a 90-second rice to get my carbs.
Yeah.
It's the easiest thing. They cost like 50p here. So like I just have some rice, and then like for protein, like I'd have a protein shake. And like it was pretty simple and just like quick. And I'd rest and get ready for the next training. But like now what I'm only doing, because I'm doing like purely strength, like I've completely detrained my cardio from quarantine. Like quarantine, my cardio is pretty good.
Yeah.
Now I get tired walking up the stairs. Like I am noticeably out of breath like when I'm walking.
You wanted to be a power lifter.
Yeah, I know. I took the meme to like its true level. Like I'm gonna start adding cardio again because like my quality of life has noticeably gone worse just without having any cardio. But I mean, I lifted a lot. That's cool.
Oh baby.
But like during the strength phase, I just like my main idea was just like eat as much as you can because like for strength training, the more calories in, the more your strength goes up. That's like with cardio and like speed and stuff like that, and just like building up like work capacity, like there you have to be a little smarter with your nutrition. I think you have to like, I think like when you start training for like speed and stuff, because like you want your body to like not feel full. That's where I found like timing my nutrition and like actually paying attention to like a specific number of carbs and like timing it, like giving myself an hour or two from the meal. Then I noticed I started feeling like pretty fast and like I was able to do my work like really well. But like if I was like eating a lot, like I just feel slow and stuff. But like now I'm like eating like ramen and stuff just like to get as many calories in and be as simple as I can. And like I mostly just eat one big meal a day. Like so I'll have my like breakfast and then I'll have like a snack. But then like most of my calories, like I'll eat like one big meal of about like 2,000 calories toward the end of the day. I just find that easier because like if you're constantly making food, it's just annoying. So I just rather make as much food as I can at once and then like eat it all.
Just start doing intermittent fasting.
It's basically intermittent fasting, but like I find that pretty useful actually, because like you can do all your training, and you can feel like nice and light during your training and like explosive, and then
Yeah.
at the end of the day you can like eat all your calories and then like sleep. Kyle, how's your nutrition? Do you time your nutrition at all? Have you found a specific number of carbs you need to be able to train?
Nothing specific like that. Like I know most of the numbers from like textbook numbers that an athlete is supposed to, but obviously that also varies from sport to sport, from person to person, so you can't really generalize that. But usually I try to eat around the same time, but it's nothing like, oh, it's 12:30, I need to eat lunch right now. It just really depends on like the time, like I guess the workload or how busy I am during the day.
Yeah, I feel like we're all like, since we're all independent players, like we're not on a team, like we don't, our schedule is just up to us. So like,
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
like I don't know. I
It's
feel
a
like
little
if I was like,
challenging sometimes.
what, say that again?
I feel it's almost a little more challenging sometimes because
Yeah,
like you start to question and then you're like, okay, I got to do this and this, and then like, well, is this enough, or am I
yeah,
doing
no,
it? Am I doing too much? Whereas if you're with a team, you have a coach, you just listen to the coach, and then
yeah,
you
yeah,
trust that he's gonna know and do what's best for you.
yeah. As long as you trust your coach, then like you're living a good life at a center.
Yeah, yeah.
Because like, yeah, that goes back to like during competition phases and stuff. Like I would just train as much as I possibly could in a day without killing myself.
Yeah,
And then like the quarantine's given me a chance to like play around with like training variables and see how I adapt to it.
yeah.
I think smart training is
Yeah, but
really.
it's hard to know. Like,
I think you
have
start
you
getting.
opened an exercise science book? I think
Yeah, but I think you can. I think you can get to know your body well enough to where you're you're like, okay, this is too much, or I know I can push myself more, and it's just having people around you to push you more too, because
Yeah.
sometimes you'll want to not do that last rep. You really will, and and having people there to push you a little bit makes that extra rep, and sometimes even an extra one after that one.
yeah,
So
it'd be nice to have a training partner.
I think
Yeah.
it's
Well, it's like you said. Sometimes you need that little push. I mean, like, I don't care who you are, even if it's at any point. But coming from it, it could literally come from anyone. But just to have somebody like, all right, come on, you could do it. Because I mean, there is like a science to everything, and when to push and when not to push, and
Yeah,
but I think sometimes we can like get too much into it, if you know what I mean. Like it's okay to push yourself like to the brink. Obviously within reason, like not like freaking.
yeah, but then you always say like obviously within reason. Then you start like getting in like what's within.
Exactly. Then there's all these
Because you like
buts.
hear stories of like people training like for like insane amounts of time and
Yeah. Well, and then it's like I'm just like within one training session, like pushing yourself hard, like super hard. Okay, and then all right, then maybe I'll take the rest of the day to rest, or tomorrow I'll do a light something in the morning, and then I think that's where like the being smart and being balanced comes in. It's like all right, you can't obviously just like go balls to the wall every day, every training session, but you can definitely just like push to the max and like
yeah.
you said, the body's adaptable and the body is smarter than what we give it credit for.
I think smart is also being able to push your body to its limit, to where the next day you can do that again. And if you're not able to do that again the next day, then you overdid it that day.
Yeah.
You need to be able to do that constantly. And even if it's not 100% push, if you can push 90% every single day during the week, it's better than pushing yourself 2 days at 100 and then the rest you're just cruising at 50.
Yeah.
You know, you're getting more out of yourself if you can push yourself, maybe not necessarily to the break, but just under, so the next day you can push yourself just that far again.
Yeah. I find that also like having like a certain focus in your training. So like right now I'm doing strength, but like when I start training for like more power, like I don't have to like then you like there's a certain focus and like your body is able to adapt better when you're like more focused on what you're doing with your training. If you're trying to like train every single facet, like endurance or like your cardio, your strength, your power, your speed, like then your body just like you can't like properly feel how the training like affects you, I feel.
For sure. I mean, you got to have a focus. I feel like that's
Yeah.
every training. It's even like when I'm practicing or whatever, I try to go into practice or I try to go into something. All right, I'm focusing on this today, or I'm focusing on blocking right overhand top today, or something like that. And I think that goes back to, yeah, you're pushing hard, pushing 90% or whatever every day, but then now I'm pushing 100% into stopping overhand, or I'm pushing 100% into bettering my gripping, and then, okay, maybe 20% into my throwing.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of helps with the balance and being
Yeah.
able to every day.
All right. So does anyone have any final thoughts today?
I think it was
I'll take that as a no.
pretty good.
Nah, good talk.
All right. So I think that's going to be the end of our show today
Judoka talking and Judoka talk.
on Judoka Talk, where Judoka talk.
Oh, baby.
Next week, we might be bringing a guest. And I think we'll probably come back to this topic of training because I want to talk about training methods and other stuff, but I don't want to overkill every single time. So I think today was a pretty good discussion, and let us know in the comments any topics you want us to talk about, and I'll see you next time.